Welcome to the RPGamer review of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is read by Esperambrez, written by Dalandar, and the video is edited by Airfrog. While RPG has gained prominence over the year, genre veteran has been reasonably wary of the lack of new franchises, joining the pantheon of elite turn-based RPGs that maintain the visual presentational values expected of high-profile release. Fortunately, Sandfall Interactive noticed a similar lack within the gaming landscape and brought forward Clair Obscur Expedition 33. The talents of the entire development team are on full display here, and it's sure to capture the heart and mind of those who give it a chance. Between the striking visual, an amazing soundtrack, and wonderfully stylistic combat, it offers a complete package that wows the senses. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is set in a world where the remaining human population has sequestered itself in the island town of Lumière after a portent of death awaits them. The mysterious paintress has appeared on a remote island, and every year she paints a number on a giant monolith that counts down by 1. This number determines instant death for everyone of that age, referred to by its citizen as a gommage, effectively scrubbing out. This necessitates reflection on life and mortality, with some resigning themselves to their fate and teaching the younger generation how to function in a slowly declining society, while others, typically in their final years of life, embark on an expedition to defeat the paintress. In 67 years, there have been no successful expedition, with none returning home to tell Lumière what things are like beyond the island. This looming threat makes for a rather bleak worldview, but not everything is tragic, as there are poignant moments and perseverance punctuated by an expressive soundtrack and powerful vocal performances that showcase how strong this cast of character truly is. Players follow the pragmatic Gustave as he prepares for the latest expedition, together with the tenacious scholar Lune and warm farmer turned teacher Ciel. Joining them is Gustave's adopted younger sister Maëlle, who was orphaned by her parents Gommage. She finds life in Lumière stifling and embarks on the expedition to learn of the world outside while keeping an eye on the one of the few people who show her warmth and comfort. Prior expedition tried to focus on a new technology or way of thinking, hoping it will take them one step farther than those who came before. For this outing, Gustave and Lune has harnessed the magical chroma infused into the world as pistol ammunition and for pictos, accessories that boost attribute and provide powerful passive abilities. The backgrounds of expedition's members are filled with heartache, but with the faintest whisper of hope thrown in, make each of them a relatable and complex character. It's virtually impossible to pick a favorite characters due to how well written they all are. The journey to the paintress is intricate, as the story twists and turns through so many interconnected moments that tie into each character's journey seamlessly, making it obvious how much care and foresight has been put into every scene. The dialogue is heightened at every step of this incredible journey by a score that tugs at every heartstring, character model expression and finer details in the setting, and a vocal cast that stepped up and brought every ounce of their being into making everything come to life. There's not much more that could be dreams of for a fantastic new world, as every aspect of the storytelling hit deeply in a way that makes this truly a passionate project from a talented teams. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 features truly wondrous land full of otherworldly beauty that tantalizes in artistically unnerving ways, including a wide variety of creatures to encounter. Hauntingly beautiful Nevron relentlessly hunt expedition members and varying shapes and size that populate every location beyond Lumiere relative safety. Beyond Nevron, there are also Pitang that run from the party until herded into a special platform, allowing players to face them in a turn-limited battle in exchange for their ample and valuable resources. Mimes are found in secluded section, and defeating them nets some costume for the party, while being punctuated by a very whimsical accordion-filled battle theme special to their encounters. Also encounter a Gestural, a battle-loving race that resemble living paintbrushes with very cavalier attitudes. As curious explorers by nature, Gestural merchants scattered across the world can be dual to unlock rare inventory options. There is nothing quite like this world, as it mixes a colorful cornucopia of ethereal vistas while combining French Belle Epoque era inspiration with some truly alien design that make for a wonderful and brilliantly evocative fantasy world. As the expedition has no idea what to expect when they reach the mainland, they only have a single goal in mind, heading north to the Pinterest. There is no traditional RPG quest structure, and everything beyond this primary objective are side adventure or path that player may optionally undertake. It means that everything other than the next detail and often lengthy story dungeon is typically very short, consisting of a large open area with an object of interest or a short jog to an optional boss fight. Everything is connected through the world map, and as players wander around, there are swirling portals that signify openings to dungeon and other areas. Some areas are tagged to warn player away when something inside is much stronger than their current party, and more of the vast world open up as player progress through the game. Instigated by the player on the world map, or after major moments at the end of dungeons, player can spend time in camp, which allow character to breathe by engaging in quieter, enlightening, and beautiful bonding moments. They can also upgrade their weapons and improve their consumable items, which replenish every time player rests. The sense of self-growth reflected in the time bonding at camp serve to fully encapsulate the journey each of these beleaguered soldier undertakes. A wonderful unique feature of spending time in camp, though, is listening to every growing selection of collectible music. The entire soundtrack is full of wonderfully orchestral pieces that feature cello, violin, and piano that are constantly tugging at the heartstring before giving way to powerful arias that carry undertones of loneliness and struggle that perfectly reflect every step of the journey. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 imparts a graceful beauty that extends into the combat system. An active party of up to 3 faced off against up to 3 enemies at a time, with turn order decided by speed and players gaining an advantageous first strike if they hit the enemies during exploration on the field. On their turn, each character has a choice of base attack to gain AP, free aiming their pistol, using potion, or selecting a skill. Skills make optional use of time inputs, which can be set to automatic, but watching the visual flair and matching the time ring-based inputs manually can be an attractive hypnotic dance all to itself. The stylistic choreography on display for every skill make following along and hitting the button prompt simple but exciting every time the character has the AP available. Defending is a different style of its own. Unlike the attacking, there is no prompt. Instead, player must learn to pay attention to visual and auditory cues as enemy move around before striking at the player, at which point they must hit either the dodge or parry buttons to avoid damage. Like with attacking, there's a dance-like rhythm to the movement and camera choreography that extend from the weakest Nevron to the mightiest of bosses, only making the pageantry bigger and more exciting the harder the enemy is. The need to master the time trigger depends on the difficulty, being effectively mandatory for the highest setting. The default setting will likely result in games over for many players, as figuring out the rhythm of each enemy's distinct pattern take a bit of time, but the hypnotic movements of the enemies make each pattern wonderful to learn. Dodging is the most forgiving option, while parries are more rewarding, with parrying a whole sequence leading to a devastating counterattack. Skill use AP, which is gained each turn and can be amplified by successfully dodge and parries if corresponding passive ability gained from Pictos are equipped. Every party member has their own style of fighting and can equip up to 6 skills from their individual skill trees, except for Gestral Monaco, who collects skill from the legs of Nevron defeated in combat. Gustav uses multiple strike to build up an overcharge ability. Mahel shifts between fencing stances that impart offensive and defensive benefit, and Lune combine elements with each spell used, leaving an elemental stain which can be used to enhance future cast. Ciel is a bit more complicated, utilizing a sun and moon system that switches between gaining AP or dealing extra damage, as well as a foretell card counter that can be drained by other abilities for additional benefits. Weapons and Pictos affect a character's power more than base attributes. Weapons gain in power based on using upgrade material, as well as having an high attribute and 2 relevant stats, and also impart passive bonuses that focus on specialization of a subset of skill. This creates a little ecosystem for every class of skill, making it exciting to see how a character might benefit from each new weapon. The selection of Pictos number and a dozen, each one improving 1 or 2 base attribute immensely, while also imparting a new passive ability that can be equipped by any party member after 4 battles. These passive are equipped with Lumina points that are gained slowly by leveling up or by imparting them to any party member and can through a collectible found along the journey. Players can fully reset a character by finding or purchasing one of the rare and expensive recoat available for merchant, treasure, or combat. In battle, the game offers many little visual and audio cues to player, and mastering these is hugely rewarding. Later fights add additional elements such as jumping, with their own visual effect to help time their usage. Enemies' attack vary in pace and number of strikes, climbing up to as many as a dozen strikes per turn. The free aim range attack is useful to hit weaknesses early on, but its effectiveness peters out as enemies lose these weak points. The pace from the evolving enemies and added mechanic always make fight fresh and exciting to dive into. Dungeon and Clair Obscur Expedition 33 don't have a minimap, which make paying attention to the surrounding a must. Fortunately, every bit of scenery is painstakingly created to make everything recognizable and path each loop back to the main one or hand and treasure, making it easy and exciting to traverse. Expedition flag acting as autosave points are frequent and allow for fast travel to other flags, but also respawn enemies upon resting. Players are not able to save manually, but the autosave is pretty generous, with player able to return to around the last 2000 save points. If the player's main party of 3 falls in battle, the 2 reserve members step in to give players a chance before a game over. There are spots where platforming is needed to get some treasure, while some special paint boxes require hunting for Treelock nearby to unlock the mechanics and get a hold of their contents. Walking up thin platform, zipping across long distances, or jumping across gap is intuitive and just add a bit of variety to exploration. Gestural beaches offer the highlight of these sections, with some time challenge as well as precarious position obstacle courses that offer additional costume rewards, all accompanied by enticing conga-esque beach party music, which lend an extra level of enjoyable addictiveness. One of the Clair Obscur Expedition 33's biggest treat and evocative of the game in general is its world map. It is simply gorgeous. It functions like a giant dungeon, and the vast world is littered with hidden lost gestural merchants and treasure to find. The simple act of expanding the map and finding these items is enjoyable by itself. This delight is magnified by Esqua, the lovable sentient gelatinous giant whose act as the party mode of transportation. Esqua playfulness and optimistic naivety bring profound joy every time they're interacted with. Collecting Esqua rocks unlocks new way to traverse, from barreling through rough terrain, swimming, to soaring through the sky. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a journey that blasts the senses from beginning to end. The melancholic and bleak moments are balanced by the character perseverance, which make their triumph shine much brighter. There's a profound sense of style and substance that only expands as more of the world is uncovered. What result is a true work of art that ties its brilliant components together into a complete package, which is awe-inspiring to come from a freshman developer. The heart and soul injected here make for a very bright future of a return of more turn-based epic that don't need the power of a no franchise to propel their popularity. RPGamers will not want to miss out on this masterpiece. RPGamer give Clair Obscur Expedition 33 5 out of 5. For more detail, hit up the link in the description below. For more video content, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitch for daily stream of your favorite RPGs. Join on the discussion at rpgamer.com on Discord. And for the latest in the RPG news, head over to rpgamer.com.